you're seeing and what you're hearing now is the sound from the soundboard, just right out of those mains, going into the Focusrite. For you are the one we want to meet. So we're here. We're on location at an undisclosed church. And obviously, because of COVID, can't have a lot of people meeting in here. It's pretty restricted still. Hopefully that'll change soon. But at any rate, we, like many churches, have switched to broadcasting online, so a handful of people can join us in person, and most people are joining on the internet. One of the problems, though, is that most of the live stream setups that people are showing on YouTube, I feel like are very geared towards, like gaming and like an individual, like somebody streaming from a laptop or a computer at home. So this is a little bit different, though this could work from home. And I'm going to show you how we put this together on basically a shoestring budget. Did not cost a lot of money, and I'm using a lot of old school hand-me-down analog gear to get this done. Okay, so here is our little sound production area, and as you can tell, this is not new equipment, and none of this is fancy and digital in almost any way. So this is an old school Mackie soundboard thing. Is nothing special here, 24 channels, all analog, and the basic idea is that for the audio, we're gonna take just the straight up main mix that's coming out of this main mix, and we are going to send it to this guy. This, of course, is the Focusrite Scarlett 282. It's an audio interface, so it's going to take this analog signal, turn it into something digital, and it's going to send that to our computer, and we use OBS to live stream. This is OBS, and it is a free piece of live streaming software that tons of different people use. Now, really, the main thing that it's going to let us do is to compile different sources of audio and video, put them together in one place, and then you take that and send it off to Facebook or YouTube or wherever the heck you want to send your live stream. Now, in our case, it's going to be dead simple. We're just going to be taking the audio from the soundboard, and we're going to be taking video from this webcam. This is a HuddleCamHD. Compile them here in OBS, and then OBS takes that and sends it off to the stream. Before we get too deep into that, I'm just going to do a really quick little tangent side lesson on sound. We are going to start with a little thing called signal flow, and the way this works is you've got a microphone and picks up a singer, and that sends a signal. Signal goes to a snake or something on stage, and then the snake runs. It keeps running and running. So the snake takes all those signals, analog signals, mind you, on stage, runs them down through one cable, and then splits them back out here at the soundboard. Okay, so the soundboard takes all these individual channels, lets you do a little bit of processing to each individual one, and then you get to create a mix here, okay? So these faders are different, volumes and so on, and that mix gets sent to here, okay, this main mix fader. Your soundboard might have two faders, but there's always going to be a main output. That signal gets sent to these main outputs here at the front of house. Okay, so you can see right here that these are the left and right main outputs. These are the ones that go to the speakers I was just showing you. But where the magic happens on this soundboard is over here. This, you will notice, also says main outs. And again, it's a left and right. And what this is an exact copy of what was coming out from here. So these are going to the main speakers, but these are sort of like an auxiliary set. You could send these to another set of main speakers, or you could send them to something like this, a digital interface, which can take that analog output signal, turn it into a digital signal, and then you can send that to a computer. So that is the very basic, just rough idea of what we're doing here in order to get a decent sounding audio to our live stream for a very low cost. Remember that. Now, I know that not every soundboard is going to have two different main outputs. A lot of them do, but especially if you've got some kind of small at-home like personal mixer, it may not have two sets of outputs. And maybe you're already powering speakers and you're like, okay, well, how am I going to do this? It is possible to buy splitter cables and to split the main outputs from your soundboard and send them both to your speakers and over to your interface. So just a quick note on cables. Now, you'll notice that these down here, these main left and right outputs are XLR cables. Those are what we call balanced cables, so they're going to be nice and noise-free. And then you'll notice over here where it says main out that it says balanced or unbalanced. So in theory, you could take a set of just literally like regular guitar, like 1/4-inch cables and run them out of here over to the interface. The problem with that is unbalanced signals tend to get a little bit noisy and buzzy. I actually had unbalanced cables in here and they were incredibly noisy, and that was feeding that noise to the live stream. So the cables I have here are balanced output cables. These are TRS. You'll notice, I'll zoom in here. These are TRS cables. You will notice that it's got a couple of different sleeves there. Basically, this is very similar to an XLR. It's a balanced cable. It just looks like a regular 1/4 inch. So this is not a lesson on cables. This is a lesson on live streaming, but I thought I would mention that. So this cool little balanced TRS patch cable is going to run all the way over to here, the front end of the Focusrite. Okay, so you've got your main output cables running here to the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 and to the left and right channels. And this is where you're going to adjust these knobs. These are gain knobs, okay? You do need to give these a little bit of gain. So as a quick demonstration, I'm going to grab this microphone. Check, check, check. There we go. Boom. Okay, so as I'm talking into the microphone, the soundboard is receiving signal and it is sending it to the interface, and you can see the little LEDs there are lighting up green, which is good. That means I have the gain level set to about the correct amount. Now, if these LEDs start to light up yellow, you're getting a little too much, and if they start to light up red, that is bad news bears. You don't want to mess with that. Something else to keep in mind is that you'll notice here on the soundboard that as I'm talking, the only signal that the soundboard is sending right now is me, the speaker. So that's just one low gain, lonely little signal. If you've got a full band going, you got people singing and guitars and bass and so on and so forth, that is going to be sending all of those signals over to here, and as a result, it's going to be sending a lot more gain. So don't adjust these dials just based on one person talking into a microphone like I'm doing now. You want to adjust these dials when you've got like the full band going, so you know about how much total gain is going into your interface. That signal goes through this USB cable you can see there. USB cable gets plugged into the computer. So now we are here at the laptop and I'm running OBS, which is a free piece of software available for Mac and PC, and there's tons of guides of this on YouTube. But because I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to show you real quick how I set up OBS to receive signal from the Scarlett. So now in the computer, the first thing you're going to make sure you have done is you want to have the right audio drivers for your interface, whatever kind of interface that may be. If you're using a Focusrite interface, you're probably going to want this thing. It's called Focusrite Control. So go Google this and download that, and that'll take care of you. Again, there's tons of tutorials on exactly how to use this whole deal, but for our purposes today, I just want to show you how to get audio from your soundboard, from your interface, into OBS. Okay, so down here, this little panel called Sources, you're going to want to hit this little plus button. And you're going to go to this very first option called Audio Input Capture. And you can name this device whatever the heck you want to. So in our case, we're going to call it Soundboard because that's the sound that this device is going to be capturing. You could call it Focusrite or whatever the heck makes sense to you. All right, so hit OK, and it's pretty straightforward. You're going to have this one drop-down menu, and you're going to have a few options. Every computer is probably going to have some kind of other speaker, microphone options. What we're looking for is your interface. So in this case, a Focusrite USB. So we're going to select that. Then we're going to hit OK. And so you'll notice down here under Audio Mixer, this middle part right here, under Soundboard, as I'm talking, you can actually see, this is lighting up. That means we're getting signal going into OBS, and that's exactly what we want. And that's pretty much it. As I was saying before, you just want to make sure that your levels going in here are not too hot. If it's in the green, anything under, minus 20 or whatever here, you're probably in good shape. If you're in the yellow, that might be a little much pushing it, but whatever. And once it gets into the red, you really want to be careful because you're really close to clipping, which will sound distorted and bad. And that's pretty much it. So now you've got all the channels, all the sound coming in from your soundboard to your live stream. Okay, we are back here at the actual church. We've got OBS hooked up to our interface. And you can tell because as I'm talking to this microphone, you can see nice little green bars lighting up down there. As a quick side note, this is where I need to mention that you have to remember that what you're sending to the computer is this. This is your main output mix, which means anything you do to the sound here with, EQ or reverbs or things, anything that is going to these faders, this mix, any adjustments you make here are going to be made here as well. So if you mute something over here, it's going to be muted in the live stream. If you change volume on one of these faders here, it's going to change volume on the live stream as well. The reason I bring this up is because it's pretty easy to forget as you're making adjustments to your soundboard here for the sake of the people in the room, that you're also making adjustments for the people who are listening online. So you just need to kind of keep that in mind. That is definitely one of the drawbacks of setting up your audio in this way, is that, you know, if you were in a professional environment, you would actually be taking one mix here for the live room, and you have a totally separate soundboard, a separate sound engineer, and they'd be creating a totally separate mix for the sake of the people online. You don't have the ability to do that here, and like I said, the needs of the people in the room and the needs of the live stream are going to be different. However, the results that we've been getting with this honestly have been very good. The sound quality has been excellent. We've gotten compliments on it even. Truly, the main reason I set up the audio in this way is because it's convenient and it's very inexpensive. I don't have to have a separate sound engineer, and I don't have to have a bunch of separate equipment. Now, one last thing to keep in mind is that, especially in a small, chill little place like this, you could just stand up here and talk, and everybody in the room is going to hear you just acoustically. But if you don't have a microphone in front of your mouth and it's unmuted, then nobody on the live stream is going to be able to hear it. So that's pretty much it for the audio tutorial. Now let's talk about the visual. I think 90% of getting a good live stream for anything is getting your audio right, which is why I spent so much time on that part. Plus, the visual part is very easy. So what you'll see here is indeed just a webcam, but not any webcam. This is the HuddleCamHD something or other. I'll put the model up on screen. Anyway, I think this webcam is indeed superior to all the other stuff that's out there. Logitech, all the kind of standard webcams you'll find. The price is about the same, goes for around $90-ish. It can be had on Amazon. I'll put links below. Anyway, I love this camera because it has an extremely wide field of view. It has a much sharper image and just kind of a generally better like color reproduction. I just think the overall image quality to me is a lot better. And like I said, it's very cheap. Now, it's just sitting on a Amazon Basics tripod. I will link that as well, so nothing special there. And, you know, for us, this really works. We are back in OBS now, and I'm going to show you how to add the webcam in as a source. You remember from earlier, we added the Focusrite 202 as a source. We called it Soundboard because it's recording the audio from the soundboard. So similar process here. Under the sources panel, we're going to click this little plus sign. We're going to go video capture device. Then we're going to type in HuddleCam. You can call this whatever you want, webcam or video. Hit OK. And again, really similar to the audio process, you're going to have this first deal here. It says device, and it's going to let you select from various video inputs. Now, probably if you only have the one webcam plugged into your computer, this will be the only source, but just make sure you select the one that says HuddleCam. Below here, you'll see a bunch of other settings to mess with. That's going to be for another video. I'm actually going to do a full review and breakdown of this webcam and some of the more advanced features, but again, that's going to be a separate video. So this is it. This is really all there is to it. You've now got your audio coming in from the soundboard to the Focusrite, and then we've named that soundboard down here. And then you've got video coming in from your webcam. And OBS is taking those two things and syncing them up and just putting them here in one place. And now we can send this off to whatever live streaming platform we want. Now, having said that, I'm not going to get into the final step, which is actually setting up the live stream, because there's dozens of different places that people stream to, and there's dozens of great videos on YouTube teaching you how to stream to each of those individual platforms. So we'll forego that for now, but I really want to encourage you, go check out these HuddleCam webcams. They're great bang for the buck. Okay, so our investment in this whole thing was about $160 for the interface, a few dollars for the cable that goes back and forth, about $90 for the webcam, maybe another 20-ish. I can't remember the exact prices and all this stuff. But basically, we are well under $300, and we're getting a web stream that I think looks and sounds pretty nice. So this is a part where we cut to a quick demo of how it looks and sounds. All right, my friends, it's starting to get dark in here, so the camera might look a little bit noisy because we're up pretty far north and it gets dark super early here. Anyway, what you're seeing and what you're hearing now is the sound from the soundboard just right out of those mains going into the Focusrite. And what you're seeing is obviously the HuddleCam, which I talked about a second ago. This camera has an extremely wide angle, as you can see, which I think is really nice because you can kind of capture this entire room. It almost makes the room look a little bigger than it actually is. And even though there's not a lot of people in here, it's nice for people online to be like, oh yeah, there's people in the church and they're there and they're doing stuff. If that's not your thing, if you just want a nice tight shot of the stage, I mean, move your dang camera, right? It's not that hard. Or you can actually crop this one in as well. Anyway, let's do a little singing, shall we? I'm doing this so I don't get copyright hit, so probably nobody's going to know this song, but whatever. Come and let your presence fill our praise, fill our praise. Come and let your presence fill this place. Come and let your presence fill our praise, fill our praise. Come and let your presence fill this place. For you are the one we want to meet. Jesus, shine through all the praises that we sing. So that's it. Thank you, my friends, for joining me, and hopefully this video was helpful. I just know that there's a lot of people out there that are interested in live streaming right now, maybe not sure how to make it happen, especially for, a venue or a church or something like that. So if that's the case, you can go ahead and like the video. Would love that. But I really want to hear from y'all down in the comments section. It's kind of just the most fun for me. And of course, you can subscribe and stick around because there's going to be more exciting stuff similar to this in the very near future, including some more music stuff, which I'm super pumped about. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.